can see that this year, that they're helping each other more, talking to each other more, picking each other up more. We expect excellence from you every day, every second of every practice, every second of every game. The only expectation I'm putting on them is that they come to practice every day, work their rear end off, and have a positive attitude. And then I believe that the rest of it will take care of itself.
Hello out there, Roadrunner fans. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Coach Haave Show, where we pick the brain of the leader of the MSU Denver women's basketball team. I'm Eric Lansing, and of course, joining me is the head coach of the Roadrunners, Tanya Haave. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Well, I'm great. How are you?
Good,
well, I can't say great, but
Sure.
I'm great to be. It's great to be here with you.
Oh, that's so sweet. It definitely makes my week to be able to talk to you and get your ideas and how things are going with the women's basketball team. We're going to talk about the last weekend's games. You guys head on the road this weekend, so we'll talk about that as well. But let's talk. We kind of talked about it earlier when the 1 week we were in studio. We talked about Tennessee Volunteers and trying to keep up with them this year, and talking about that. Oh, and she kind of gives me the oh no. I mean, they're 11-5. They're ranked 13th in the nation. I know there's higher expectations for the Lady Vols,
Especially with the talent that they have. But I know it's molding that talent or gelling that talent.
And they're just 2-2 in SEC. They've lost 2 of their last 3. So just give me your quick thoughts about them the last few games and what they can do to get better.
I think they need to gel, and kind of like where we are. You just get that grittiness, toughness, gelling together as a team, playing together as a team. That's what they need. They play Notre Dame. I think they're at Notre Dame today. So.
That's right, number 3 Notre Dame tonight.
That's gonna scare me, but they went to Oregon State, number 12 in the country, and beat them. So it'll be a good test for them today. I still believe that Holly's going to get them together. It's always been you play tough schedules early, you might struggle early, and the trademark of Tennessee basketball has always been, boy, you get it together in March. So still have the faith. I'm sure they're frustrated. All the players are frustrated, and there are very high expectations there. So, but I have faith in that they'll get it together.
Is there ever any time in the history of Lady Vols where there weren't high expectations for them to be able to, for everybody in the nation, even me who's not a big college women's basketball fan, to know that, well, Lady Volunteers, if they're not in the top 25, something's wrong? I mean, what's that like for a coach and players? But I mean, I guess you sign up for that when you go to the school like that too.
That's exactly what you want. That's why you go there. That's exactly why you go to a school like that, is that you want those expectations. You want to play in the Final Four. You want to play for a national championship. So you have that pressure on you. So I don't think there's ever been a time we've been out of the top 25. So to have them 13th is low enough. So I'm sure that people in Knoxville aren't happy. It's a place that they're not used to being. But again, like I said, I think they have the talent. It's just a matter of getting that molded together and getting them a little tougher.
Do you scream at the TV during games when things are going bad for them?
No, not too much. Just kind of go, oh, I haven't watched the games. I've got the games recorded. I'll probably watch the game today. I have that game recorded too. But I've got enough film to watch on my team right now too. So when I have some extra time, I'll be watching them for sure.
Well, I'm going to try to tune in tonight. Maybe I'll give you some text messages, or maybe I won't, because if you're going to DVR, I don't want to ruin it for you either.
No, you can text me.
Okay.
Feel free to text me.
Okay. I'm gonna try to catch that game tonight if it's on TV.
Missing that box out.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Come on. All right. So let's get into this past weekend. The Roadrunners right in the mix for a playoff spot in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Your squad had some tough opponents coming into this weekend. CCU came in with a 6-game winning streak. Mines ranked in the top 25 now. I think they'd won 12 in a row. What was kind of your mindset for this team going into this weekend, especially here at home?
My mindset was that we're at home and we need to take it to people, and that we should be successful, that we're on our home floor and we'll defend our home floor. But we've done a very, very poor job of defending our home floor. We've had 7 conference games in these first 11. We've won only 3 of them. And so I communicated that to our players this morning, that that's not good enough and that's not the expectation. So clearly we lost both games, and that was very, very disappointing. And it was extremely disappointing the way that we lost on Friday night. That shouldn't be happening. So, and that's on me. I'm responsible. So we need to try and right the ship, whatever it is. So we'll do whatever it takes.
Let's talk about the CCU game a little bit. One thing that CCU was, they seem to be hitting their shots, 45%. What were they doing right offensively against you guys to really kind of spark their offense to go in the right direction towards that win?
Well, I think for a while we really focused on, and that's all they're focused on is Colorado Christian, is their transition, and I think that took a lot out of us, and then they were just hitting shots. And our pattern has been when we can't hit shots or we're not successful offensively, it affects how we're defending. And so they were able to get down and get some easy shots and do this and do that. And then it just snowballed, and then it just got out of hand there in that second half. I mean, I thought that first quarter and a half we were able to get our tempo, and that was it. Well, you can't play for a quarter and a half. You have to play for 4 quarters. So I think it finally caught up with us, their transition game, and then they, when it starts rolling and everything, you're comfortable, and it just the snowball effect in the negative direction.
Yeah, there was definitely a couple of times where you could even see it on the footage. You can check out the highlights at roadrunnersathletics.com where there was an incident where Georgia Ordorf made a shot, and we're following her up the court for the hero shot, and then right behind her, there's a pass that goes right past her for a layup. So definitely got to be able to get back, and the urgency and so forth in that respect of things. The thing that kind of kept you in this game for a majority of the game, I thought, was the offensive rebounding and second chance points. At least for the early part of the game, you guys were hustling in that respect. I know rebounding is definitely something that we've talked about on this show and throughout the years on this show. So I thought that at least there was some effort to try to get the offensive rebound when things aren't going your way offensively. So at least shooting on the initial shot.
Absolutely. I mean, the Colorado Christian for a lot of the first half was playing a zone. They went to a man there in the end of the half. So against that zone, we were very, very successful, and that's how we were successful last year of getting second chance points, or at least second chance opportunities. I think we had, we had 11. We had 12 offensive boards at the end of the first half on Friday night, and we came away with 11 second chance points. We need to convert more of those, but that's about what the averages are. We only got 8 in the second half, but that is single-handedly what kept us in the game. And what kept us behind, though, were our turnovers. We had 8 turnovers at half. We have too many unforced turnovers. With Jalen Smith, she's a freshman, but we've got to take better care of the ball. She's got to take better care of the ball.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was one of the things that stood out was the guard play was no one could really hold on to that basketball or find the open team or take ill-advised shots. I'm sure that's obviously going to concern you as a head coach. What do you tell these girls to kind of get them back on track to realize, let's move the ball around or take care of the basketball? I know as a freshman, you're still getting used to the speed of the game, and we're more than halfway through the season, so how much leeway if you give them at this point. But what do you tell your guards to try to get back on track? In less than half an hour.
Especially with our point guards, and Louisa Tago's been doing a great job at the point guard spot, taking care of the ball. I think she's starting to get a little more aggressive. I think with Jaylin, you have to take a little bit of the good with the bad because she's so aggressive. There's going to be some mistakes, but there are some mistakes that she doesn't need to make either. So we can live with a few of the mistakes, but it's, especially with Jaylin, is it just make the simple pass and take what the defense gives you. And what we do is we start speeding up. We start thinking so fast and just get out of control. And, you need to go fast, but we get in a hurry. And when we get rushed, we're in trouble or thinking too much. So with our guards, it's just, hey, keep shooting. Janae Payne, she's got to keep shooting it, but she's not in a rhythm there, and she's got to get in a rhythm. I mean, so, you keep working with them, but we've got to get better play out of our guards. There's no question we've got to get better play out of the guards, especially the guards that we have, the talent that we have from our guard play, at the guard position.
So in the last quarter, it was, I believe it was 19-7. Tough. I know we've seen this is the team kind of wearing down at the end of games, or is it still the effect of them playing too fast? What is it about the last few quarters of a game that the team struggles so much from the field offensively and even defensively to give up 19 points in a quarter?
I don't know if it's getting tired. We've had games where we play the whole game. Yeah. So I think against teams that are good, where we have to play a high level, but we're playing 8-9 players. We have to have better depth than that, but we don't have enough depth right now at the post position, and that hurts us. So we've just got to get better. We've got to be able to play at a high level of intensity for longer. I don't think it's a conditioning issue. I think it's clearly. We believe, the coaching staff believe, that it's a mental. We get mentally tired. And when you get mentally tired, then
your body kind of shuts down, I guess.
That goes to toughness and things like that. That's what I think. So we just got to keep working on it. I think that's, again, we're getting experiences. But for us just to fight and second half of a Friday night game, and we'd gone pretty light all week. I mean, I think I think we're looking at a mental, we just got to suck it up.
How contagious can that be? Is it just terrible? Is it just flourish when one player's not shooting well or another player's not getting back, and then it just kind of filters off to the rest of the team?
Yeah, we don't have that person right now that will put their foot down. Hey, stop this. You don't even need to say it, but do it through their actions. It can be Stepanovic at times. It should be Georgia Ordorf at times. It should be Emily Hardigan at times. And right now, that's not happening. It should happen through making a shot, through getting a stop, through getting a rebound, and that's how they can lead. We don't have that person right now that go-to player. We don't have a go-to player.
How important is that? I mean, you're a coach, obviously, and you can tell them, but how different is it being a former player, playing at such a high level, to have that other player, if things aren't going well, to come on the floor? I mean, is it a different message that they get from a player than a coach?
Oh my gosh, it makes all the difference in the world. So I'll use Jasmine Cervantes. Her junior and senior years, every time that we needed to make a play, whether it be on the offensive end or the defensive end, she was involved in it. She would either block it, get a steal, get a stop, take a shot, get someone else a shot that would break their back. We do not have that player right now.
So we'll see who kind of steps up as we go along in the season. The final of that game was 65-46. Ordorf had 13 points, 6 boards. Stepanovic tallied 10 points and 6 boards. The following night, you guys took on the number 1 team in the conference, the Colorado Mines, who has won 12 in a row, unbeaten in the conference. They obviously carried a potential RMAC Player of the Year in Courtney Martin, who is one of those big girl type of players who's going to get in the paint. We've seen you struggle with those girls before. What was kind of your message going into this game? I mean, she ended up scoring 20 points on you, but what is it about those type of players that gives you guys fits?
I think mentally, I think their bulk, their size, I think intimidates us, or it's a bad matchup. I don't think it intimidates us. I should take that back. It doesn't intimidate us, but it's just a bad matchup, and we don't work hard enough to get around her, to keep the ball from her. But to her credit, she does a great job getting position. Yeah. So I don't think there's a player that's improved more from her freshman year to now. And so, yeah, they're just riding her. They've got a really solid point guard in Laura Tyree and a post player. You got your 2 top positions where they are extremely experienced. And they do just enough, they make enough plays, and they win. They've been beating everybody. So you got to give them credit. I mean, you look at them, okay, well, they remind me of our first team. Everyone looks at us, oh, they're not that good, but then we go out and beat you. Yeah. That's exactly what Mines is doing. So you got to give them credit.
And they have role players. That's like Emma Bailey came up big for them as well. So if you have other players on top of your star players, it's going to go a long way.
Yeah, and so that's what we need. You look at us. We've got a post player in her first year in that starting role. We've got point guards that are in their first year in their roles. So we're very inexperienced in those roles, but we're getting that experience. But even given that, I still think that's a team that we can play with, and we did. I mean, we were in it for the whole time.
Yeah, I felt like your energy was better. Yeah. Like the sense of urgency, I felt like was a little bit better. While some of the shots still weren't falling, I felt like the fight was a little bit better in this game.
Right. So that tells you right there. You look at that from Friday night to Saturday night, that this is not a conditioning issue. This is that we have the conditioning. It's putting our minds to doing what we're supposed to do.
So defensively, you guys did really well. You held them to 34% shooting. I believe they were just 4-15 from downtown. So to keep your team, I know it's the ever-ending battle of coaching. To be able, if the shots aren't falling, you still got to fight. You still got to go rebound to keep yourselves in a situation where you can still win the game, even if the shots aren't falling. Because like you said, while the shooting wasn't going down for you guys were still in that ballgame because you were rebounding, you were playing really good defense, and good things can happen.
Yeah, I mean, we did. We kept giving ourselves chances. But one thing in that first half, even from the first half to the second half of that Mines game, we were much better in the second half, much more spirited and energy and all that. So we're getting back to consistency. We give up 12 offensive rebounds in the first half, and we give up only 3 in the second half. Well, so we've got to find that consistency, and I've talked to the team about we have got to sell out. Sell out physically, sell out emotionally, sell out mentally, and we don't do that enough. So, and that is my responsibility to make sure that we're selling out every day in practice. clearly we thought we were because we had some results that were good. You see it at Mesa. You see it. We were able to get over the top of Shatter, and then you see a really complete game against Regis. We come back and play very well against Adams on the road, which really concerned me. A little bit of a setback at Fort Lewis, and then we come back at home, play a great first half, and then fall off the map again. So you think that you see that progress, but I think this past weekend at home, they were good teams, no question, but it still was a setback. I feel like we're better than that. So I think based on that performance, I see what our team is, and so we have to fix that.
Coaching, being
I don't know
capable.
if it's coaching.
Well, no, what I'm saying
I
is,
think it's putting them in a position or getting them to that mindset. So I don't know if that's going to be on me, but ultimately I'm responsible. But I have also had the message to our team that, hey, after Colorado Christian, well, you clearly aren't tired of it enough. Every time we've lost, you're not tired. Nobody's tired of it enough, because I think we spoon feed them a lot. So now it's like, okay, we're going to put you in positions. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to be very firm with you, and we're going to demand excellence from you. But at the same time, you need to demand it from yourself. So that's that fine line of the quote-unquote coaching.
Yeah, because you got to be able to, it's in them, and you got to bring it out of them.
Right.
And some players respond this way, some players respond this way. So I could see the ever-going battle of being a head coach where it's like a Jazz who's, she's going to go out and do her thing, and I can trust her wholeheartedly, and she's going to do her thing. But with players trying to figure out how to respond, trying to get it, that's where I was kind of mentioning, coaching, that's where, man, it's got to be difficult. Right. I have no clue on how that works. I could tell people what to do in my regime and my crew to help them try to shoot better or do play-by-play better. So everybody responds in a different way. Kind of going back to the shooting, I know three-point shooting wasn't spectacular for you this weekend. Obviously, that's so huge in this game when you're trying to get Stepanovic involved, Ordorf involved. You want to be able to open things up by being able to shoot from outside. What do you going back to the coaching, I guess, but do you tell them just to keep shooting? I mean, obviously Janae struggled a little bit this weekend. Right. Do you tell them to keep shooting? I mean, is it not transferring? I mean, are they in practice they're nailing them, but in game time it's different? What are you telling these shooters, trying to get them back on track to really start to get this offense to flow?
Well, it's funny because it does come in practice. Sometimes we're moving the ball, we're hitting shots, and we struggled this week a little bit with our offense shooting, but I'm thinking sometimes when you do really well in practice, you do really bad in games. I'm thinking, well, hopefully it's a really not great. Like, we executed well. We didn't hit shots per se all the time in practice, although it wasn't awful. So I think we need to get Janae Payne and Janae Squires, and that was a focus last week of having them shoot when we are playing. They don't shoot. I'm like, you have to shoot. Johnny Whitworth, she's coming around. I thought she had a great weekend. Yes. Where she's coming around, they've got to shoot those shots, and they got to know that we want them. I mean, I'm begging people to shoot, and it's a fine line of getting good shots, taking bad shots. They're sitting, I don't know when to shoot. No, I tell them there are criteria, and I tell them if you've decided that that's a good shot, then it's a good shot. Everything else be damned. And that's where we've got to get that mindset. Squires has that mindset. I think she's going to come around. She's a first-year player in our program. Yeah. But I think we just keep having them shoot. We did a lot of shooting last week, so I'm really surprised that we didn't shoot the ball better from that range. I'm really surprised. We did, but we just stay with that. I mean, they just got to keep shooting, and we're thinking of ways how we're going to get them shots. Off those ball screens, we're getting them shots. In transition, we're getting them shots. So we set up plays for Squires. We set up plays for Janae Payne. So they got to knock them down. I'm confident Janae Payne will come around.
I think so too, and she seems to have that mentality to stick with it. Obviously, the way she shot this weekend, she still shot a bunch of shots, hoping to break out of her funk, for sure there. And you just hope like the demons don't come into their minds, that they hesitate on shots a little bit more, or they're gonna make the extra pass when they have the open shot. So you just hope that doesn't creep in as the season goes along. Is there anything else that I missed from this game in this 61-54 loss where, You played with him. You told us after the game that you were positive. You liked the energy. You liked the fight in this team a little bit better. Is there anything else I missed from this game that you hope to change, or did I miss that really stood out to you?
I think all those things that I said to the team, it was a good start. So we need to get better. But we had 5 or 6 layups that we missed that were at the rim. So then the next thing is we got to make plays. You got to make a play on offense. You got to make a play on defense. So making plays. So
plays,
with that foundation of the competitive spirit, I talk to them a lot about competitive character. Our competitive character has to be better on a consistent basis. It's not there. So we were working on that this morning in practice, competitive character. Whether it transfers or not, a lot of times things in practice are great, and it's got to transfer to the games. So.
And speaking of games, you guys hit the road. You guys get away from the Area Event Center this weekend. You head north and you take on Black Hill State at 5:30 on Friday. So after taking on the number 1 team in Colorado Mines, you take on the number 2 team in Black Hill State. So definitely no easy task going from here to there. And then Saturday at 3:30, you guys will go toe-to-toe with South Dakota Mines in Rapid City, South Dakota, a team with the same conference mark. So they're battling to try to reach you in the RMAC tournament. So a lot to take from this show: being tough, fighting, character, trying to find the grit, keep shooting. Despite the tough weekend, you're still right there for a playoff spot. You're the top teams.
Absolutely.
The top teams are up there, and then you have just a mess of other teams underneath you. So just interesting to see how this team responds to this tough weekend and goes on the road, which isn't going to be easy. That's a long road trip. Tough teams ahead of you. So just give us some of your thoughts as you head into this week and head on the road.
Well, we will find out more about our team, and you're finding out about your team all the time. You hope that you get to know them, but with this group, I'm continuing to find out. I think you might think you know them after the Mesa game, and then you see the Regis game, and then you see Adams State. You think you know them, and then we're still going the up and down. We're still riding that kind of the wave of the up and down. So finding out, but now I think we're going to find out more, and we're going to find out someone's going to step up. We hope someone will step up, but someone will step up. Someone will emerge. People have emerged. Jalen Smith has emerged. Yeah. Johnny Whitwer is starting to emerge. Let's see who's going to emerge here. It's athletics. And the thing is, I think we have an issue of putting so much pressure on ourselves, but what's pressure? This is why you play. We talked earlier about Tennessee. Why do you go to Tennessee? Why do you go to Connecticut? Why do you go to Stanford? Because there's expectations and you want to win. If you don't want expectations, then you shouldn't be here. And I've told them that. You shouldn't be playing at this level. Go somewhere like wherever that might be, or go play intramurals where there are no expectations. But that's why you compete. So that's what we've got to get to the point where it's fun. I mean, that first quarter at Colorado Christian was fun. Everybody else, a lot of people on the bench, too many faces of, oh no, oh my God. You guys are fine. You're doing great. It's awesome, good. Keep doing what you're doing.
Have fun. Mystery, coaching.
But they're very good. It's a good group. It's, hardly have given up. Like you said, someone gets hot now. We still have 11 games. Someone gets hot. Yeah. And I hope it's us. You never know what can happen.
That's right. It's always fun to go through a season, the ups and downs, and you're going to have downs with the ups. A few years ago we were talking about 30 wins and going to almost to the Final Four, and you're just going to have years like this. You have a very young squad.
That's coaching also.
Yeah,
that's coaching.
And this is the Coach Haave Show, and we appreciate you helping us out and letting us into your mind to tell us what's going on this floor. And I know it can be tough, to have to relive the games, but we do appreciate you helping us and the fans to really stay with the women's basketball team. And I'm sure everybody that's listening wishes you guys the best all season and, of course, this weekend.
Well, we just really appreciate the interest in the women's basketball programs. I appreciate that, and thank you so much.
All right, remember to check out RoadRunnersAthletics.com to keep up with your Roadrunners all season long. You can check out Stretch TV. So watch the girls and the women's team. Let's say the girls team. The women's team play on the road this weekend. Remember, 5:30 on Friday, 3:30 on Saturday, and check them out. It's absolutely free. And we'll see you later on the Coach Haave Show. I'm Eric Lansing. We'll see you next week.